What is going on? DrkSydeB here, and welcome to my Q&A video. You guys have questions and I have the answers, so let's get started. How long did it take for you to become an experienced bass/guitar player? I am asking this because I am new at this, just got my first acoustic guitar, and I'm a total noob. That's a great question. I'd say it took probably about a year for me to feel real comfortable with the bass. And at that time, I was also in a band, so I was writing music, coming up with bass lines, and things like that. So I'm a true believer in the you get out of it what you put into it, and people learn things at different rates. So if you're consistent with it, you will progress a lot further with learning an instrument or whatever it is you want to do. And after I was done in bands, my bass sat for a long time. And now I pretty much picked it up when I started the channel, maybe a little bit before, and even to this day I still practice scales, chords, and all those basic fundamentals of playing to sharpen skills to lead me to the next level of bass playing that I want to be at. So congrats on getting your first guitar, stick with it and don't give up, and the main thing, have fun. How do I get your amazing bass tone? I use a PV Max 700 bass amp, usually paired with the Boss ODB3 bass overdrive, or I use the Alpha Omicron by Darkglass in most of my videos. Do you have a band, or would you like to be in one? It would be awesome to see you on stage. I am not in a band at this time, and I think yes, it'd be fun to be in a band again, but right now I'm focusing on this channel and the solo project that I want to start with writing my own material and producing that. I do miss being in a band, and yes, I loved being on stage. I like to perform and play live. That day maybe will come again sometime, and when it does, I will let you guys know for sure. Do you like Gojira? Yes, I like Gojira. I was fortunate enough to see them about a year and a half ago, and that show was amazing. So if you get a chance to go see them, I recommend you do it. What you prefer, fingers or pick? I prefer playing my bass with my fingers, and I know in most of my videos you'll see me with a pick, but odds are when I pick up a pick and start playing my bass, even on my own, I end up just setting the pick down, letting the fingers do all the work. Did you learn guitar or bass or video making first? I actually learned those things in the exact order of your question. I started with guitar in high school, picked up a bass before I left high school, and then I learned to make videos when I started this channel, and that is how you are watching this, and that's it. What is the best way to enjoy experimental jazz? With a glass of straight bourbon, my friend. Do you like milk? Yes, it does the body good, or that's what they tell you on TV. Who are some of the most influential bass players for you? I'd have to say Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. His playing style is amazing, and when you hear his bass lines, you instantly know that it's Flea. He carries his bass in the Red Hot Chili Peppers very well. His bass lines are unique, and they always seem to pop and have this tone to them and this depth that I find really cool. And also Tim Comerford from Rage Against the Machine and Prophets of Rage. His bass playing is amazing, his tone is amazing, and he has super fat bass lines. When I heard the album Evil Empire, that blew my mind. I wanted to be that cool guy playing those sweet bass lines underlying a guitar riff. What inspired you to start playing and why bass? Also, what are your plans for the future with the channel, and what type of music do you plan to make? So other than Flea and Tim being inspired by their bass lines, what really started to get me hooked on bass also is I played trombone in jazz band in high school, and the bass lines to those jazz songs we would play were really cool, and I wanted to learn how to play bass and walking bass lines. I just loved the depth and the tone of the bass guitar, so that was a big thing for me to pick up the bass while I was in high school because they had one. They had an old, I think it was like a 75, 76 maybe, American-made Fender jazz bass with a sunburst. It was really cool, so I got to use that bass quite a bit when I was first learning how to play. As far as the future of the channel, I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing, upload bass videos, beard videos, and all the random radness I like to do. I'm not afraid to mix things up and post them on this channel. That's what it's all about. The joy of YouTube is you can be creative and upload what you want. What's your favorite style / shape of bass guitar? And also beer or whiskey? I'd have to say my favorite shape and style of bass guitar is that American-made Fender Jazz. That was my own personal first bass. I had a silver one, which unfortunately came up missing after a show one night, and I loved that bass guitar. And you can tell a Fender bass from a mile away just by its design and the crispness and the lines. So someday I would love to have a Fender Jazz bass again in my arsenal. And also a second would be an Ernie Ball Stingray. I've always been interested in those basses, but I never had the chance to own one because the bass I have now works fine. So Ernie Ball, if you're listening, it'd be really cool if you sent me one to demo. And whiskey, of course. At what decade made the best music in your opinion? I'd have to say the 80s. Do you have a battle vest / jacket? If you do, show us. I have my motorcycle vest I can show you, which I proudly rep a Fuck Cancer patch and the Violent Gentleman Hockey Club patch. So yeah, this is my vest. Safety first. What do you feel has been your biggest mental setback in just going for it and making the content you enjoy making and just following your enjoyment of making content in general? I'd say my biggest setback is I always fear, will it be good enough? Is everyone going to hate it or make fun of what I post? And I've been very fortunate to have a lot of people like the content I put out. And no matter what you do, how good it is, you're always going to have haters and people that love to smash the dislike button on every one of your videos. So if they don't like it, yet they keep coming back and doing it, I've noticed. But that's all good. It's not going to stop me from moving forward and taking this channel where I want to take it. But yeah, that's an easy thing to get down on yourself and think it's not good. So yeah, I'd say that's about it. Thinking your content's not good enough, but never give up no matter what you do. Just keep pushing forward and put it out there. I got a few questions for you. I was wondering, how did you learn your instrument? Were you professionally taught? Did you teach yourself, and if so, how? Do you know theory, and how do you recommend someone should learn to play bass? Also, thanks for making videos. You crack me up, and it helps when I'm having a hard time. Well, thanks so much for subscribing and watching my videos. I'm so glad I can entertain and make you laugh when you're having a hard time. I know what that's like, so thank you so much for supporting this channel. Now to your question, how did you learn your instrument? Well, like I said, I started with guitar in high school, and then I pretty much just picked up the bass guitar, applied what little I knew about guitar to the bass, and just took off from there. Basically self-taught for the most part, and then I got into a band with my buddies and just started writing riffs and bass lines, and that's where it all started for me. So yeah, pretty much self-taught. I do know music theory, and I know how to read sheet music. And then I recommend, if you're going to learn bass, if you can afford it, go with the professional lessons. And if not, you can use this platform right here, YouTube. There are tons of great bass channels that are very instructional to get you started on bass. And I even use some to learn new scales and other techniques myself. No shame in that. The content's out there. There are great teachers, so look it up and have fun with it. Pizza or steak? That's a tough one because I love both. So I'm going to choose pizza with steak on it. What inspires you to do these videos? Also, what's the soundtrack in your videos at the end? I'm inspired to make these videos because I like to entertain and share my goofy ideas with the world and the fun I can have here in my studio. And also, I really want to take this channel to 100,000 subscribers. I really want that silver play button, and I know it's going to be difficult, and I have to earn that, and I'm willing to put the time in. When I started this channel, you know, I had people saying to me, oh, you'll make like 2 or 3 videos and quit. Or, oh, your stuff isn't that great, you're not going to get any subscribers, so you might as well quit. Well, I take that as fuel and put it in my fire, and here I am, just over 17,000 subscribers, and I am very proud of that. So I'm going to continue with this channel, and I'm never going to give up till I get that silver play button. And even then, it doesn't stop there. I will keep entertaining and providing content because that's what I like to do. And the soundtrack at the end of my videos has changed. I made a new end card, and that is a friend of mine's old band. They were called Caulfield, and the song I used is called Death Whisperer. Who would you consider to be your all-time favorite band? If that's a question you can't answer, then who got you into metal and what got you interested in guitar or bass? Wow, I definitely can't answer the favorite band of all time. That's a real tough one. But I got into metal, and I've talked about this before in an older video, because of a neighbor of mine when I was in elementary school. We would walk home and he would already be home and he'd be cranking Metallica. We'd go over to his house and blast music, and he was a guitar player, so I was just really wowed by all that, and it was really awesome, and I wanted to learn to play guitar like he did, playing those heavy metal riffs. So yeah, that's pretty much where it all started, listening to Metallica when I was like 10, 11 years old, and then I haven't looked back since. What are your top 3 favorite bands? Also, can you show us your guitar and bass rigs? Again, that's a really tough one for my top 3 favorite bands. So let's see here. I would have to say, of course, where I started listening to metal, Metallica would be on my list for a top 3. And also, and I know the comments might blow up with this, I am a huge As I Lay Dying fan. I really, really love that band, and I'm super excited that they are back together. I know the Tim thing is a sore subject for a lot of people, but putting that aside, I'm here to tell you what bands I like, and I really like As I Lay Dying a lot. And I can't wait to see them again, and I hope they come out my way very soon. And as far as the third band, it's really tough. I see a lot of other YouTubers try to answer this question, but I'm gonna go a little old school. I really enjoy Led Zeppelin. They are a really great band. They have a lot of classic hits, and I wouldn't mind listening to a Led Zeppelin album, sipping some whiskey, and just kicking back. That being said, are they my all-time favorite top 3 forever? No, there's a lot of floating bands, but I wanted to throw an old school band in there. So yeah, Led Zeppelin, they rip. And yes, I can show you my guitar and bass rigs. I'll probably make a separate video on that. It's something I've been thinking about doing for a little while. I know you've seen pretty much most of my gear in the background of my videos, but I've never really broke it down and showed it to you. So I'll probably make a separate video of that in a few weeks. And that's going to wrap up the Q&A video. Thank you guys so much for submitting your questions. I will make another one of these in the future. I'll make another community post so you have plenty of time to get your question in there so I can answer it. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I am DrkSydeB, and I have a beard. I do what I want.